India summit that is currently ongoing. You can see the visuals on your screen. Let's listen in.
You hear where he says India advisors haven't advised. We don't have advice. No. Yes, there is a certain segment which was dealing on upfront commissions, which looked at his short-term investment and returns from the bonuses they got. But if you look at the independent financial advisor community, right, who deal with the father, son, the grandson, the brother, the sister, there is a stake in delivering value. And these independent advisors have been doing that. Otherwise, that customer would have walked away and gone to another person. The fact that they've retained their customers and they continue, and SEBI's recent direction on only trail-based commission only enhances this process. So I would say there is good advice available. So I think the right way to go, like one, for the industry, as I said, is to commoditize and promote capital preservation-oriented products, because then you're not facing post-purchase dissonance. The second, on the greed-based, risk-based return products, I think digital has three elements to it. One is execution has to be digital because the customer has gone far ahead of you, right? Marketing has to be digital because reaching out to a large population like India with underserved, very low penetration has to be digital. But advice, robo-advice, you can't put a cookie cruncher. You can't put in past returns. Yes, a day will come when big data and machine learning throw up 10,000 possible scenarios of goal-based investment, asset allocation, and then you can put the customer's mental frame, everything into it. I mean, it's an AI-driven world, maybe sometime in the future. But today, I don't think robo-advisory, because ultimately the problem with robo-advisory, the problem with any technology-based advice is that once you're advisory, right, you can't get money from the mutual fund. And how many customers, how much they pay? Is it going to pay for this? Absolutely not. A 2 crore investor will hesitate to pay 20,000 rupees commission. Right? So I think the key is today, as things stand, I think it's digital assisted execution, digital assisted advice, hand-holding has to be physical, and that human, because it's emotions involved, I think the connect between the advisor and the knowing him and understanding is. So I would say today, for the foreseeable future, it's going to be a phygital world. There has to be a physical advice, hand-holding, and the execution and everything. And that's where one final point, which an earlier panelist pointed out, right? Competition versus cooperation. I think still today, we don't have reached a stage because of the plethora of platforms that a customer can come, invest in Sundaram Mutual Fund, and then if he wants to redeem and put it in some other mutual fund, he has to redeem here, get the money in his bank account, go. We are still not there. We've got to be in a where cooperation, where wherever in the fund you go.
So we've got mobile number portability. Maybe we'll have mutual fund portfolio portability soon. On that note, let's open the floor for a couple of questions. Sir, if you could stand up, I'll get a mic to you. Sir, if you could stand up front, mic. Sir, it's coming this side. Sir, if you could state your name and your question and for who the question is.
I am Dr. R.A. Lal, retired director from Government of India. What Mr. You said, physical hand holding. That I want to comment on that because I was doing lot of investment in mutual fund when it was available in physical form. Every newspaper vendor forms were available.
No, sir, but I'm sorry to interrupt because we're running out of time. Just what would be your question, sir, if you could get to the question?
Question means that those street advisors who were having local contact with the people have disappeared almost nowadays.
Yes.
Because advisors are available, hi-fi advisors which are available on digitally and other media. So those were creating lot of confidence among the investors. Whether that system will come back again or not.
Oh, interesting.
I think that it's a very relevant question. I think it's a stock market, IPO-driven forms being sold, right? And then mutual funds are also sorted. I think that will come back. I'll tell you why. The moment the ease... See, one of the biggest costs... See, in this industry, that's one thing I wanted to point out. In every industry, digitalization makes savings to the customer. There's one industry where all the costs are picked up by the manufacturer, that there's nothing left for the customer. So by going digital, customer is not saving any money because that same 1.5% or whatever per annum of you charge. Whereas the physical person in between, the intermediary, he incurs a lot of costs. And one of the reasons those lower level advisors have gone because the costs have gone up dramatically. So I think the whole digitization of the customer reach out and the thing and the investor awareness programs, right, would help smaller advisors also have very low cost of operations, right? So that he can, so I would not say back to the old days, but I would say definitely cost for the distribution community can come down because of technology.
Well, that was an interesting chunk straight from the Digital India Summit that's happening as we speak in New Delhi, and that's a panel dedicated to talking about the digital revolution that has taken place in this field of financial investment. And on that note, we'll